Welcome back to PCM Yeti, episode 141. It's the transfer special crammed into just a few minutes, and then we're going to move on to La Vuelta. In part because, in theory, this is our last season. We're too late into the window. PCM 25 is about to come out, as is Tour de France 25, and I've already got so many cards in play right now that I really don't have the free time. So let's kind of cut right to the chase on signings that I've already made. I have not confirmed any of the signings yet, but I've been weighing my options, and I've already negotiated with most of them. Now, my dossier list is quite long this year. We have a lot of expiring contracts. So we're going to work our way from the bottom up. Shui, Pickrell, G. No negotiations have happened. I am not intending on re-signing them. So that's 3 riders out from last year's team. We want to at least replace, if not expand, the roster size by 1 to 2 riders, though I think we do have enough now. Pieter Wilms is signed on fairly cheaply. He's a 5.5-star prospect. He's already got good flat stamina and cobble and time trial, and it is in that cobbled area that he's going to be pretty good. So he could be a good Paris-Roubaix rider down the road. Zayats has been re-signed for a moderate fee, certainly affordable, 10-15K, something like that. Leclerc is cobble first, Lind second. He's already got an 81 Barrador rating, but he's only got a 71 flat. The resistance is high. The stamina is there. There is some potential. He's got some sprint capability. So he is Paris-Roubaix first and foremost, meaning we've got the 2 guys. He's a 5.5-star prospect. We've got the 2 guys there. And a potential Lind replacement. We'll get to that one soon enough. Haddad, pretty hefty pay increase, but affordable. And will absolutely retain the 4.5-star. He's only 25. He's got a little bit of room for growth left, and hopefully he'll pick up a couple more mountain points, but the stamina and medium mountain are already there. Great support rider in the climbs, if he can ever get a race day condition anyway. Christopher Young, absurd how much he has progressed in 1 year. He's already a 5-star guy, 5.5-star prospect. Sprint is already a 79, but he's got nothing to go with it. Not a very good rider, but he's got potential as a sprinter. And he asked for a lot of money. I think we ended up somewhere near 30K in the end on the negotiation. There's a chance I may not take him, because what is he actually going to do for us with a 79 and nothing else? Well, nothing, really. He could be a 5.5-star guy, sure, but what use is it to pay him a ton of cash when he doesn't actually serve any real purpose? That brings us into the upper echelon, and the first of the riders one of 4 who only got to moderate interest, meaning we have to overpay to have them, and they're all 5-star or better guys. So Guggen, 78 mountain, 79 medium mountain, 75 stamina, puts him right into the realm of the kind of guys we have on the team right now, like a Tadome type. Not very cheap because of the moderate interest. Probably on the affordable side, 35-40K kind of thing, or 30K, whatever it was. Probably will go ahead and sign that deal. I have not talked to Archie Ryan for the moment. The 3 below, and those 3 dossier points are still available to me. We only have the moderate interest. He is very steady with 78s and a 79 stamina, so I may go in just to see what we're dealing with finances. But Seabra, almost a definite signing. He's only 24. He still has room for growth. He's already got a 79-81, very strong climber, but the stamina at 75, a little iffy. Descending is very good, and I like to use that one. He could be a great addition to the roster. And he was a little more affordable because we actually got the interest up. Vasilevsky, Christopher Young, but better. Better top speed, better acceleration, better flat, more useful. And, well, not cheap at 30K or so. I think we're pretty okay with that deal. But we get into the upper echelons here, and Colsit is the first one that I'm not entirely sure. Because of the moderate interest, we got him to 96%. But at 96%, it's still moderate interest. Like, that's it. There is no, you either get a discount or you don't get a discount. There's no, you'll get a little bit of a discount. That is just, you don't get it. So for him, 80 mountain, 88 medium, 78 medium mountain, 76 stamina, with really good descending and acceleration. Like, that's a quality rider. But he's asking 54K. That brings us into the top 4 and the only 5.5 star guys we were able to get after. Remember, there was not much. There's 1 6-star available in Lenny Martinez, who had a high dossier cost and no interest. And a lot of the best guys, the 5.5 star guys, just did not have the interest and had high dossier costs. It would have been really hard to go after most of them. And nearly all of them were in that 27 to 29 year old range anyway. Matthew Brennan I have not talked to. That's the bulk of the transfer points I still have left. He's just a sprinter, and I'm not sure that I need to spend gobs of cash on that, when really the only thing left to achieve is win a Grand Tour and, unlock those last 2 nations. We're 99% done with our goals. Kevin Lind, asking way too much money. Way too much. Full interest. He was at 85%. We pushed him to 100 very, very easily. But he's an 81 flat with 79 stamina. Yes, he's got an okay cobble rating and an okay time trial, so he's good for a team time trial. He's good descending. He's got some qualities. But he's a flat rated rider asking for like 47K. I don't think I want to spend that 47K to retain Kevin Lind. Here's the danger zone. Hagland and Shreddle. As for Hagland, he was not happy we let him go. Now, it was impossible to retain him when his contract expired. And I'm sure everybody remembers who Hagland is, right? I don't think any of you jumped in just recently to not know Edvin Hagland by this point. Major member of our team. He was VATSEC before VATSEC. He's stronger as a GC rider, and he has grown more at 24 now, 79, 79, 77, with time trial and stamina and resistance and recovery. He's the closest thing we could get to a GC sort of guy right now. But we couldn't re-sign him. So he really does not like us. We got him from red into yellow, but we gained 5% session by session through those dossiers. He still really doesn't want to join us. So when it came down to it, not only was there not a discount, but at 75K, which is a lot of money, we were still barely above 80% on the interest level, and we only got 3 chances to negotiate with him. It was not even remotely close to a deal coming together. It looks like it would have taken probably 90 to 100K to sign Hagland. And we can get, like Lenny Martinez for that kind of money. Biggest disappointment, though, the Hagland thing is very disappointing. But an even bigger disappointment is Shreddle. And the reason is this. 98 or 99%. That's how close we got. We only got 3 chances, just like with Hagland. The finances are in a much, much better state. Much better state with him. 52K. 53K, and he signs that deal. It's easy to immediately point a finger and go, well, why didn't you offer him 53K then? Here was the thing on where our negotiations went with this. The first offer, which was very close to what his initial asking, which was like 42K. I think I offered him 40 the first time. He hated it. Absolutely hated the deal. So we bumped it up quite a bit. And in the second offer, it jumped 82%. 82%, like, in the negotiation, meaning we were nowhere close. Didn't do any hard calculations or anything to try to figure out where we were, and was like, oh, he's got no interest. He's not going to sign it. Like, it's not going to happen. Just click the button, sent the offer, and then saw how close we were, and felt devastated. I made a huge jump in the cash from about 44 to 52. Like, we went up 8K. It was a very healthy jump. But the reality is that Shreddle is the guy who could have been our GC leader for next year. The 80 mountain, the 80 medium mountain. 78 stamina, the 82 resistance, 72 recovery. Not as great for a Grand Tour, but 78 acceleration, so he can win a sprint stage. He can climb. Now, his time trial's not very good. Haglund is obviously the better choice for us, but Haglund wouldn't have happened without like 100K or something and a lot more negotiations to get anywhere near there, because his starting asking for Haglund was about 55. We jumped to 75 in just a couple negotiations. So Shreddle coming just within 1K, devastating. But it wasn't because I was inching my way along. We had a huge jump from offer to offer. It just went from nowhere near to 1K off. One more offer and it's easy. I would have offered 2K more just to be sure. And I would have signed that deal. I absolutely would have signed that deal for Shreddle. So that's the disappointing one. Haglund would have been the better rider to have, but we weren't remotely close. So I'm more disappointed by just how close we were with Shreddle. I do have 2 guys that I will almost certainly sign out of our scouting just to add to the team. Joseph Fuller and Simon Moe. We don't know a whole lot about them at the moment, as we're at 8 and 7 and you need to get to that level 10. Our next feedback loop will come in 10 days, so we know a lot more. Hopefully get to the level 10 and know everything about them potential wise, but we're talking about a flat cobble guy, and the mountain one 5.5 stars. So actually we're looking at a pretty strong climber, but his medium mountain's only a 63 at the moment. Neither one of them would be anything good for us next season. It would just be that future real life that's never going to happen, but the future in the game that that you could imagine. But we do want to sign Haddad. We definitely want to sign Zayats, Films, Leclerc. Seabra was a good deal. And then that's where I need to make a decision. Well, I've quickly added Vasilevsky and Guggen to the list. So we're getting 2 very good climbers added in, retention of Haddad, and then you still have, your Sorensen, you have your Lindqvist, and your Tadome to then go along with, Vatsek, who's so far down that list and definitely not an elite climber. It's a lot of 5-star guys. It's a very capable, well-rounded team of what's left. Young's at 15, Colsett wants 54, and Lind 44. Now, those are all agreed upon, but at the moment, I actually can't sign any of them. We already have 3 guys that we're letting go. This would be 2 more. That's 5 out. Currently, we would be downgrading by 1. However, I can still afford the 2 prospects, so that would see us upgrade by 1. But we do not have the finances even for Christopher Young at this moment. That's how far we've already stretched this thing. However, of our budget, there are coaches. There are coaches that still have, there's guys that we signed after the first. And so we have some multi-year contracts that we could cancel and replace after signing deals. So in theory, we could still get Colsett if we wanted, but we can't get all 3 of them. Next year's really not even going to happen anyway, so it's okay. The reality of what we're looking at is we're adding 2 more top climbers, and we are not losing any of our climbers. We're losing a flat rated guy, but we're picking up 2 to replace him. We're losing Christopher Young, who has just been a domestique flying through with 1 attribute, who's just a domestique. And then Colsett's not even somebody who's actually on the team. I'd like to have him, but we can't afford a second Sorensen or a third Sorensen and Lindqvist, which is essentially what he is. And Zayats kicks off our La Vuelta. It's only 7.5K, so it's not a team time trial. It's an individual, essentially prologue on this one, especially if there's a little tuck section. Here is the first climb of the day and the only climb of the day, I believe. So that's already the first checkpoint. We are 8th, just 22 seconds off the pace. Another little descent in here. It's another period to tuck. It definitely leans towards maybe the 87 is definitely the way to go. 86 is where you first start burning that red bar, and that 87 burns it definitely a bit faster. We're going a lot faster than Yilmaz, the Turkish rider there. I really want to get a good time for all or most of these guys. Reason being, and yes, the 87 can absolutely cut it towards the end. 8th place so far, just 42 seconds down for a non-time trialer. Prologue, he's a little bit better, and he had a +6 there, 77 in the prologue today, and that's most of the rating at this distance. 5K and under is 100% prologue. 25K and over is 100% time trial. Anything in that 20K range before or in between will use a combination of the two, kind of percentage wise of how much towards one end or the other end of the spectrum you are as your two primary attributes. There's climbing, there's descending, there's stamina, but your flat rating means absolutely nothing here. It's replaced by that prologue / time trial whenever you're in that 3% upgrade or downgrade. So at 7.5, it's mostly prologue. We can call it prologue. Jouet sets off with a 76 prologue today and very good stamina, so he should be able to perform decently well. We'll leave him on an 87 and see how well that does to the end. But outside of these first couple of guys who are the support climbers, really from Vacek on, you've all got, well, other than G, they're all strong climbers. And so all of them have a chance to put in a good performance today, or a really bad performance today. And what I was just talking about with the potential of having multiple climbers and sending guys into the break, we might actually try to do that here on this La Vuelta. The pure strategy of just stay stationary and fight it out just does not seem a great option, as the 87 just about got us there on a guy who's got a 69 base prologue. So yeah, 22nd, 47 seconds down, just a few seconds behind Zayats. We're off to a good start, which is good because Vacek's next, and he may be our GC rider for this one. He may not be. It's a lot more climbing happening at this La Vuelta than there was at the Tour, and a lot of mountaintop finishes. I think we're going to be better off riding for Lindqvist and Sorensen. The other thing that we're going to face in this race as Vacek sets off with a 0 on his race day condition is that the race day condition is just not going to be as good as what we've seen. 15th, 10 seconds down at the first time check, riding that 87 from the very beginning. He overtakes the rider ahead of him and actually does have that little bit left in the tank, but he went through it very quickly when we tick that up. Back down again and to the finish line. 9th place, just 12 seconds off. That's good for a guy on a 0 race day condition. But we really prepared for that Tour de France. So we saw lots of +3s, 4s, and 5s throughout that race. Everybody here has an objective, but most of them are never going to see a fitness peak during this race. So we're going to see a lot of +1s, +2s. We did really well to lower their fatigue levels after the Tour in preparation for this one. But again, the combination is a little bit of fatigue left, and by the final week, that'll be a problem. And definitely not going to hit fitness peaks means a lot of lower race day conditions. It's going to be a lot harder for us to be as competitive at La Vuelta, even if the field's a little bit weaker. Tadome was 23rd, 11 seconds down in the first sector. He pushed really hard through there on his own and had to ease off here to recover some energy, so I think he's going to lose some time in this second sector, but I've taken over here to the end, trying to give him as much of a push as I can to get him there. He does lose a little additional time, drops to 31st, but still just 30 seconds off. The whole group inside a minute so far is a good sign for us. And Lindqvist sets off. He's got a 79 on that prologue rating today. Should be able to put in a pretty decent time. Should be quick on this climb as well. 34th, 15 seconds down. 87 will just get him to the finish line. No additional push. Steady. 34th, 28 seconds down. It's a competitive time. It's a very competitive time for him. So our strongest climber in good shape. I let Haddad run his own race. He's got a terrible prologue rating, and he's only a sport climber anyway. And so he was the first one to lose more than a minute, but G had a -3 rating today. Not one of our top guys either, though. He'll be just a domestique, so not a big deal that those two ended up over a minute. 3 climbers at 17, 34, and 32 seconds down with just Sorensen left to go. If we can do something similar, even remotely close with him, we'll be in great shape with our 4 climbers all within about half a minute. 75. 22 seconds down, just 89th, but still a competitive time, but the 87's not going to cut it to the finish. Down to an 86, runs out of red bar about 50 meters before the line, drops to 53 seconds down, so the worst of our climbers, but he's also only a 78 mountain, so I'm not sure why he would have been the last one going. I suppose on paper he's the highest rated, but he's more of a puncher. Ayuso goes top of the standings. So Ayuso obviously is a top threat for this race. Malesi as well. Seixas, he must be on a fitness peak already here for stage 1 for him to put in that sort of time. And then it's down to August and Buitrago before you get other maybe contenders in this race. So you definitely have a few of them that are already vying at the top of the standings after just one stage. We've got sprint stages, punchy stages early on, but one pretty decisive stage during the first week. We'll want to get back some time, be in that GC picture. I don't want to be anywhere near first place, though. Let Ayuso and Malesi share that, Seixas. Let those guys have it, and we'll just work our way into just outside the top 10 or just inside the top 10. And I'd love to see us send some guys in a breakaway in one of the middle stages. Not that first decisive one, though. That's very much just don't lose time, move up the order, thin out the herd for the GC just a bit, and still be part of it. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.